By the way, guys, go get everything Phineas has ever put out. They're awesome. I love them to death. I'm so happy this is Phineas. I don't care if I get demonetized. I definitely will in this one. We're watching the whole thing.
The nations will hear a new song. The nations will hear a new song.
Studious. All right, you guys, welcome, welcome. Thanks for worshiping with me. That was amazing, huh? Gotta love you some Phineas. Tell you what, this is a Phineas shirt. Oof. The golden skies will divide to receive you home is what it says. How's it going, y'all? Another day. There we go. Ah, there I am. Well, Peacemaker figured out how to use some things. So yeah, I'm excited. Oop, that's the wrong way. I decided to go this way with it. So I'm kind of on the side of the screen, you know what I'm saying? It'll help me out a little bit. Because when I pull up that screen, you're going to see it, right? So, boop. Oh, it'll be the Bible in a sec. We're going to go through another installment here of Bible Basics. So, yeah, I'm not quite ready. Let's see whatever I can do here. Ooh, hey. Yeah. Hi, guys. There we go. Oh, it's a little bright. All right, y'all. I can see. Welcome, welcome. Let's go through another installment, all right, guys, of the Bible Basics series. We're in Genesis chapter 1. Let's pull that up, huh? Let me throw up my screen. All right, and let's pull it out. Make it a little bigger for you guys, so you can see and all. Hopefully that's good enough. We'll find out. Sorry for the skew, but hey, it is what it is, right? All right, I was doing my testing this morning here. Let's do Genesis 1. What that was for. I like to do that sometimes to me. Sorry about all that stuff. Sorry if you hear my phone too. Let me find my phone and turn it off real quick. So you don't hear that all through the whole video, huh? No doubt you might. All right, guys, Genesis 1. And let's do this. Genesis 1. History of creation. All right, guys. In the beginning, God, let there be light, light from darkness, day and night. First day. Cool. Let's see what else we got. We had firmament, whole bunch of waters, divided the waters from under and above the firmament, called heaven. Evening, morning, the second day. Just a little recap. See if I can remember which. Oh no, I just moved my mind. I just moved this too. Sorry, guys. Let me see if I can remember which way I need to duck. If I duck, I think I need to duck to my left, which is on the screen your right. Stage to the left. How's that looking, guys? How's that looking? Let me see. Invalid path. That's weird. No, it still says we're recording. Stop recording. Yeah, so it still says we're good. Hey, you can see me the whole time. Darn it. Now I can't make goofy faces. Just kidding. I don't really do that. I don't know. All right. So it looks like we're doing okay, theoretically. Hopefully this is an awesome video. Hopefully it blesses you. Jesus, I just pray you'd go with us as we go through the texts. I haven't prepared hardly anything, but I find with the Bible basics, Lord, that I do better when I just stay authentic and I stay in a place that is kind of shooting from the hip. So, Father God, set a guard over my mouth. Anything you don't want me to say, don't let me say it. Excuse me. All right, we got yep, water is gathered and dry land appears. Okay. Dry land's called earth. Called seas of the waters. It's all good. It's all good. Then God created grass and herb that yields seeds and fruits as well, according to their kind, whose seed is in itself. And it was so. The earth brought forth grass. So the earth brought forth then grass and herb that yields seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself, according to its kind. There's another important thing. Right, we talked about kinds of things. You can tell a fourth grader what kind of thing is this, and they'll tell you it's a machine of some sort, even if they don't know it's a mic, right? Which, by the way, I'm working on getting better stuff. I promise. So please like, support me, share me all over the place. Patreon, support me, because that helps me get better stuff and make better videos for you guys. Get better software, understand things better, have more fun, all those good things. God saw it was good, so it's good again. The third day. So we went through all this already. Lights in the firmament of the heavens. In the firmament of the heavens. Okay. To divide night from day from night. Signs, seasons, years, that's that clock we talked about. And lights. To give light on the earth, right? So it was so. And then God makes the two greater and lesser lights, which is the sun and the moon, and the stars also. Wait, lights in the heavens, and they're not stars. Yeah, there's some stuff here, guys. I just want to pause really quick. We went over some of this last time. There's some things here that we don't know. We just don't know. We don't know if these are some of these lights that were mentioned before up here, lights in the firmament. Like, we don't know if those are classes of beings or if those are something else, you know. Also, the stars are alluded to as sometimes as angels. And it could just be a picture, right? Just something that is luminescent and beautiful. Um, I'm not saying that this is where the angels would have been created either, because we know they presumably were there before creation. Not maybe not ex nihilo, right? So not before the Big Bang or whatever you believe started up the universe, but definitely Job says that they rejoiced. Let's go there real quick, like, and I'll just throw that out as a doggy bone, I guess, of some sorts. Not that you guys are dogs. Don't hear that. I gotta watch what I say. All right, Job 38, I think it is somewhere. Oh, here we go. Oh, that was easy. Oops. Ah, they're all gonna laugh at me. So Job is getting answered. Excuse me. And the Lord answered Job out of a whirlwind. By the way, that's a tornado or a giant cloud of pillar of cloud. I wonder where I've heard that before. Right? Uh-oh. So anyway, God says, "Who is this who darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Now prepare yourself like a man, and I will question you, and you will answer me. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? And tell me, if you have understanding, who determined its measurements. Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? To what were its foundations fastened? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy." So right there, B'nai Ha Elohim in the Hebrew. B'nai or Ben is son or son of. In Hebrew, Ha is the, and Elohim is gods. Technically, it's a plural, gods. It doesn't mean pagan gods alone. Michael Heiser, and this is a good study for you. He's a linguist, and Michael Heiser has said that the term Elohim is a locational term. It kind of means that which lives in heaven, and we don't really. It's used that way in Scripture. It's used of Samuel when he comes up from the grave. It's used of angels, presumably. I think it was. It's used obviously here, B'nai Elohim, right? It's used of even God Himself uses this term because He's not saying like another God laid the foundation of the earth, right? So Elohim is gods, and it's plural, but it doesn't mean a pantheon of gods, and it doesn't mean polytheism. Don't let anybody tell you that. That's not what we believe. There's one true God, man, and he doesn't look like that. To quote Captain America. Just kidding. Boy, this whole video is going to be demonetized like that. It's already probably demonetized. I haven't even put it up yet. Just kidding. Yeah, we see that God does a bunch of junk. Ooh, it takes form like a clay under a seal. Anywho, we'll get out of that. So here we are with the stars also. You saw them mentioned as morning stars, right? B'nai Ha Elohim, the sons of God. Ah, yes, and one other thing to say about the sons of God. It's always used, B'nai Ha Elohim is always used in a similar way, in a positional way. for something that is a direct creation of God as well. A sentient being that is a direct creation of God is a son of God or a child of God, if you will. And this is also picked up by Paul and other people in the New Testament. I'm trying not to rabbit trail, I promise. But we're called the sons of God. We're given the right to be the sons of God, right? John. John 1:12, I think it is, somewhere in there. John 1:12, sorry, somewhere in there. Let me not be too quiet. My mom was like, hey, you need to be louder at the end of my video yesterday because I was just playing around. I figured out that I could do the whole video thing like this, and I was all excited, but I stopped talking loud enough, so she was like, you weren't saying anything. um, so yeah, twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are, up above the earth so high in the midnight sky. I don't remember what the rhyme was, but something fishy's going on too. We always say that we know how the stars are in our modern day and age, and I'm not trailing, I promise. This is something I wanted to clarify. We always say we know what they are. They're a giant nuclear blast furnace in the sky, or whatever. They're a red dwarf or a blah 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 blah. The problem is when you look at them, their luminescence is interesting. As somebody who has a telescope and loves to be weird and look at things, you see them flickering. You see them twinkling. They don't just stay red like a red dwarf. You'd presume if it's a nuclear furnace, it would just stay red, right? No, there's like a whole bunch of whites and greens and blues and purples, and it's just always flickering, and you're like, what is going on up there? It's like a prism. So, does that negate that theory? No, not at all. I don't want to say that I know better than any scientists. Let me say that again. I don't know better than any scientists. So don't tell me that I'm an idiot or a backwater Christian for trying to believe that science and Christianity are compatible. They are. We're all seeking the truth. That's the point. But to also say that ancient texts had no idea when they differentiated even lights in the firmament and stars, or whether this is a category that all this fits into, I don't know. But this is what you get in the Bible Basics. You get some I don't knows. So anyway, we got lesser light, greater light. Presumably, like I said, different light, right? Check it out. Do it yourself. Go back to the last time and hear the experiment and try it out. Divides light from darkness, kind of again, meaning day from night. This is the clock dividing. This is not a contradiction. This is not, oh, I thought he did this in verse 1. This is dividing light from darkness in a scheduled manner, and to hold that degree of light and darkness. Okay? God saw that it was good. Evening and morning were the fourth day. Cool, we got through that. But the waters abound. Is this where we took it? Yeah, this is it. So this is where we left off, guys. We're into the fifth day of creation. You know my view that this is literal days. I think that any other reading of the text is disingenuous or doesn't compute or compatibilize with it personally, such as death before sin, such as, like we saw last time, how do the plants and things live before this for millions of years if they're day ages, right? If the day is an age, not just a literal day, which is what the text would indicate, is that it was a literal day. So you have one day where trees didn't have the sun, like it's not a big deal. Whereas if that's an age, it's like, how did that work, right? There's limiting factors, there's issues that push me to be consistent and to stay in my worldview that this is literally 6 creation days. Not the least of which is the parallel between our week, right? We'll see that when we get to Exodus 20 and whatnot for the Ten Commandments and whatnot. God says, and we already kind of looked that up a couple of times back. I think it was Exodus 20:11 or something. But it talked about God parallels it directly with our week. He says, just like you have a week, I had a week, and made everything and then stopped. You have to make your life like that, right? Like 7 days. One of them you don't work at all, nor does anything in your house work. You basically are left to quarantine. Funny how that applies. No, but the quarantine idea is interesting too, because the Jews effectively to not transgress the law they quarantine themselves. So it's not going to be the end, guys. Keep praying. God just opened a church in every house. That's all. um, I pray He did. I pray He did in your home. He did in mine. That's for sure. I started this whole ministry out of this stuff. Well, just before this stuff, really, because it was my weekend off of work, and then I ended up having the urge to start this ministry, and I never had the desire to make YouTube content, or not YouTube content, but just video content. And then I started to think, what a better way to, and I am rabbit trailing now, so you get to stick with me. What a better way to use my gifting? What a better way to try to help people? What a better way to chronicle my life? What a better way to maybe way down the road support myself enough to get a more full-time ministry and do what I love to do as well on the side. But what a better way to save my hands. I'm a massage therapist. I've told you this before. A licensed massage therapist has a lot of people. I tend to do at least about 25 or so a week, right? I tend to have that many clients at work. And that's a lot, and you can only do that for maybe 30 years, maybe a little more. But full time is not sustainable, right? So I was wondering with all this, what I'm gonna do, 30 years down the road or whatever, and I feel like God is pushing me in this direction. He's pushing me in the direction of His ministry and being about His business, which thank God I want to be more than anything. So if you guys hear that, and if you know somebody, anybody in ministry, which by the way I thank you guys. Shout out to all the people who have helped me out and helped me get started. So Braxton Hunter, Brax Facts, thank you. I know this is Bible Basics, but I guess you guys need to hear this too. You probably haven't before. Brax Facts he's the Doctor Strange of the Apologetics Avengers. I'm the Thor. No, I don't know. I'm just being a goof. But Doctor Strange is so funny because he's a Molinist, and I know this is Bible Basics, but hang with me. Molinists believe in what's called middle knowledge, and it's hilarious because that's basically counterfactuals, right? So in the movie The Avengers, you remember Doctor Strange is like going through all the counterfactual universes and everything else, and he's like, this is the one we need, and I can't tell you, or otherwise it changes the whole thing. If I tell you, then it's not a world that we win in, right? There's one possible world that they win in. That's funny. Um, Needless to say, I found too many parallels between the Avengers and people on YouTube who I love and who have helped me. Mike Winger is totally Captain America. He's very, very just straightforward and kind of what uh, prim and proper. I think I don't know. He strikes me as prim and proper. So, and David Wood is totally Iron Man. Just because it goes with his whole thing. He's got a little Tin Man in the bottom of his screen, right, from like the Wizard of Oz. He's a sociopath. He has issues and has sorry guys. I wish I had a heart, basically, is what I think he's playing off of. Because he has trouble feeling normal emotions like normal people, which I totally sympathize with. I really do. I don't think I'm a sociopath at all, but I definitely was psychotic for a while. So I get it. I've gone to dark places where people wouldn't dare venture. Uh, so he's Iron Man for sure. David Wood, shout out, brother. Um, Jonathan Pritchett, Prime. Prime comes from, we were talking about we were in a video of Trinity Radio, by the way. You should go check them out. Mike Wingers is Bible Thinker, also good. David Wood is Acts 17 Apologetics. He deals a lot with Islam. Let's see, is that all I got to so far? Yeah. And so, I know, I'm sorry I'd taken a lot of time out of the Bible basics to give you a whole bunch of nonsense you probably don't care about, but I do. So it's going to get chronicled. That's what the other thing that this video thing is for, is to chronicle my life, right? So I'll speed it up though. So that would be my parallels there. Thor, I have long hair. I don't know. I keep saying friendly neighborhood metalhead too. So maybe I should be Spider-Man. I don't know. I'm a youngin. Of the group. I don't know. Who cares? Uh, but anyway, if you kind of vote, let me know. Um, yeah, we got all them. Prime is definitely the Hulk, because sometimes he's Pritchett and he's very, how do I say? He's very doctorish and don't hate me, Pritchett. Don't hate me, Pritchett. Oh man, he's gonna be like, shouldn't you be studying your Greek and Hebrew? Dang it! And then he goes Prime and he goes Hulk on people. So there you go. That's the whole idea. Anyway, guys, so thank you all for all your help. You guys, all three of you guys, especially before, really put out a video. And yes, you were in it, Prime. I saw you. Where you gave me some tips, advice, the red, right, all the cool stuff that I love and that I think make this video, this content and channel viable. So thank you. And I'm working on it. So guys, without any further ado, I'm so sorry. Also, Leighton Flowers, thank you. I don't know about him, Apologetic Avengers. Maybe he'd be a Vision or something. I don't know. He's got the duck and the rabbit. He sees the Calvinism and the non-Calvinism. Uh, anyway, guys, thank you all. Soteriology 101 is Leighton's channel. By the way, I've been super blessed by all the stuff you've been putting out, especially lately. In response to, sorry guys, in response to James White, and his critiques. It's been awesome. It's been awesome. Keep it up, you guys. Avengers assemble. All right. Then God said in verse 20 is where we're at of Genesis 1. Let the waters abound with living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens. That's what we saw before, right? We were talking about how, man, I despise that little, like, whatever this is. I wish I could get rid of this. No, I don't want to log in. All right. Sorry, guys. Boom, above the heavens. And that's right in your view, too. Ugh. I gotta quit highlighting then, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll just highlight like over here. Verse 20. There we go. Maybe that'll give you a little cursor so you can see. But anyway, we'll follow the cursor then. Let the waters abound with living creatures. So let is not just a let here, right? It seems to be a creative act, which is an interesting precedent throughout the rest of Scripture. Sometimes things are said, God let this happen, and he made it happen. Sometimes he says, then, I made this happen, and it's really more of a let, by the way. Because clearly we know he made the creatures, right? And it just says, let the waters, like the waters created them, right? It's not like that. It's a expression of like we use today, an idiom. and or maybe even a means of what he uses. I don't know. Okay, because we also see that with mankind later. He uses the dust of the earth to form us and then breathes into us. Um, we'll see. Let's pick up 21. So God created great sea creatures. Ugh, and every living thing that moves. Ugh, sharks freak me out. All right. With which the waters abounded, especially megalodons. Oh, good. Whew. And they may still be alive, so I hear. According to their kind. Every winged bird according to its kind, and God saw it was good. By the way, we found a megalodon tooth that was freshly dropped. We found a couple in my lifetime, I think, so it's like, what is going on? I don't know, scientists. Go get on that. My marine biologists. Go find us a megalodon. Oh, God, that would be scary. Oof. And God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply. And fill the waters and the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth. So evening and morning were the fifth day. So that's the fifth day, guys. And then we're trekking right along. We're getting through it all. So that's another thing that I want to bring up, though. Megalodons. So I'm into cryptozoology as well. I like to check out weird findings, right? Not like Bigfoot necessarily, but okay. Not necessarily Bigfoot, but more like Mowgli and Mbembe over in the Congo. Seems to be some sauropod-like dinosaur that seems to still be putzing around. Here we go with Megalodon, maybe still being in the sea. Um, I don't know. I'm not proud enough to say I know all things. Okay. But our common theories are that they're extinct. Yeah? And that's a problem. Especially if Mowgli and Mbembe over there. Yeah, a couple guys in the church started in the Congo, ate one. You know, like what? What do you mean he's mean and he chases off the hippos? Yeah, it's true. Um, what I'm saying, guys, is there are many pieces to history, many pieces to science, even within our own realm, which, by the way, not too huge on giving NASA $19.8 billion to go shove off into space. And I'm definitely not a big fan of the Space Force. I don't know. It's whatever. It is what it is, right? We're going to waste a lot of money in our lifetimes, and we will pay for the games we played. We will pay for the games we played while people are starving to death. Sorry, rabbit trail, rant, over. But we don't even have this all under control. Don't let anybody tell you that we know everything about everything. That's a lie. It's a lie from the pit of hell because that makes us omniscient, and we are not. Another one. Let me see if I can remember it. Kangamatu. Kangamatu. I don't know. It might have been. Basically, you go down to South America, and there's a couple places where it might have been Kangamatu. Somewhere in there, they tell you, look, you need to bury your dead deeper than 6 feet, almost, or at least 6 feet, because if not, Kangamatu is going to come dig them up and eat them. And you're like, what? It's horrifying. What? Well, it's even more confusing and weird when they're shown a picture of a pterodactyl, and they're like, yeah, that's it. And you're like, what? What in the world? What do you mean? Like this? These are people in places where they have no reason to lie. They have nothing to gain from it, nor do they know that they're supposed to be extinct. Right? And I understand that people in other places also exaggerate or mischaracterize or misunderstand. So I'm not saying that there's a pterodactyl in South America, and there's a sauropod dinosaur over in the Congo, but there may be, or Loch Ness monster, man, it's a plesiosaur, possibly. We've gotten a picture of a diamond-shaped fin. Loch Ness, the Lake Loch, wait, Loch Ness, excuse me, the lake. Loch Ness is big enough for everybody in the world to go drown in. 7 billion people would fit in there and die. You know what I mean? So it's a big lake. So to just discount 11,000 or whatever, thousands of sightings, like 13,000 or some junk sighting, I don't know, 11,000 sightings. Um, I remember at least 11,000 sightings the last I remember, is absurd, right? And a lot of these were before the invention of even modern cars. I'm sorry I'm rabbit trailing, but this is sea creatures, right? So we're not out of the text here. Great sea creatures like the plesiosaur we have on the fifth day being created. Well, I would wonder if Loch Ness Monster wasn't a plesiosaur. And here's my other evidence. What's interesting is before modern inventions, like cars and whatnot, it was easier for things to move about and to dodge us. Or it was harder for them to dodge us. Like even when you're putzing around on the sea, if you didn't have a motorboat, like whang, if you had like I'm just paddling along, you're just another sea creature, thing pops up in front of you, you're like, um, ah! And he's like, ah! So you both are like, oh my gosh. Um, it's funny how you both scare the crap out of each other, except for when it's a plesiosaur because he's huge and terrifying and really could do a lot more damage to you than you probably could to it. Um, but here's a good example too. There was another time where I read about, it seems to be nocturnal, Lake Ness Monster has a veterinarian student. One of the sightings that I read was that a veterinarian student in the 1890s, I believe it was riding his motorcycle across the road or the path, whatever it would have been, or the 1900s, early 1900s. Um, so he was riding his motorcycle, and that's not terribly loud. Like it wasn't a Harley with screaming eagle pipes or nothing. But anyway, he was going down the road and he sees something in the road just in time enough to halt to a screeching stop, and he's got his headlights on whatever this is, and it's a plesiosaur presumably, but he's like, this is Lake Ness Monster. I think has a sheep hanging out of his mouth, and he's like, oh my gosh, like what, and the thing scuffered off, and he was like, what did I just see? Was that real life? you know, like these people don't have the whole ton to be like, oh well, you know what? I'm gonna just debunk evolution and say that plesiosaurs are over there in Lake Ness, right? Like that's not what they're out to do. They're just like, something happened to me, which is the most honest eyewitness account you can have. By the way, also the Gospels are the same way. We know this. That's why there are some positional discrepancies, some perspective differences. That's actually strengthens the witnesses, not diminishes their witness, right? Because that's what you get when you get eyewitness testimony. You get their version of what happened, you know. So not to rabbit trail too far, but there's discrepancies now that I already brought it up. Say with the resurrection account, it was just resurrection day a couple days ago, and there's discrepancies found within. Was it two angels or one angel that appeared to him, and was it the stone rolled back, or was it rolled back when they got there, or all these different things, right? One thing is chronology, so you're chronologically in time and space, you're looking at different events that are happening along the timeline, and if you start mixing them up in your head, then it could make it even more of a disparity than it actually was. Like, you know what I mean? So that's one way to not only harmonize but really make sense out of the text, and that gets rid of a lot of your problems right there. But another one would be said person, say, you're um, generally in the tomb or something maybe, and you're like, what's going on here? And you poke your head out, I don't know what's going on here. And you poke your head back in, and oh, there's angels, and you're terrified, so you hit it. They're an angel, one angel that you see at the foot of the where he laid, and you just eat it because you're like, bam, that's what tends to happen with angels. A, you're terrified, and B, it's like the presence of God just boom, hits you, and you're like, ah, you just collapse, right? Well, you only saw one angel, but there may have been two. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of eyewitness stuff. It's not that it's wrong. It's just that the perspective is, somebody else comes walking up and looks in and goes, "Hey, there's two angels there," right? And then they have a different account than you do. You're like, "No, there's one. I only saw the one angel." Yeah, because you ate it, right? Like, anyway, sorry guys. I hope that blesses you. Fifth day. Sorry, let's keep trucking. Let's keep trucking. In the words of Leroy from War of Ages. Keep trucking. All right. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth every living creature according to its kind, cattle, creeping beasts, or creeping things, and beasts of the earth according to its kind." And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to its kind, and the cattle according to its kind, and everything that creeps along the earth according to its kind. God saw that it was good. Now, does he just passively see that it's good? Or did he enjoy what he was making? I think that's what it was. He enjoyed what he was making. He saw that it was viable, that it was full of genetic expression. Um, it pleased him. You pleased him. Your kind pleased him. Never forget that. Mankind pleases him. He wants, it's not to say that everything you do makes him happy. That, God forbid. God forbid. We do all sorts of stupid, numbskullish things that deserve nothing short of wrath of God and hell every day. But, and that's the but, you're still created in the image of God. So let's get to that. This is my favorite part of Genesis 1. I'll try not to make it too long. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image." Problem is, there you have a plural. You have a plural verb, I believe it is, or adverb. Make. Let us make. Elohim, right? It wouldn't be such a strong argument for a plurality within the Godhead to say like Elohim is, or let us here in the noun sense that God is in us. In English, that's a pretty compelling argument, but in Hebrew and in the times that we were reading this, it wouldn't have been as compelling unless you have whoop in our image, right? Make in our image. If the verb and the noun in Hebrew concur, now you have a case. So this here is gold for a trinity. Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let him have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth. So God made man in his own image. A lot has been said about what it means to be made in the image of God. Let me tell you what it's not. It doesn't mean we're beasts. It doesn't mean we're just like the cattle and the birds or any of that. The fish, farm. In the geologic column, they say fish, amphibian, reptile, mammal. Nope, wrong. Sorry. By the way, fish and birds are here. I mean, birds and presumably dinosaurs as well. So fish of the sea would include like a plesiosaur and other dinosaurs like cattle and overall the earth, right? This is when God made dinosaurs too. So birds and dinosaurs didn't transition from one to the other. It just didn't happen. By the way, Archaeopteryx was a fake. So go back and check out all your stuff because you've been lied to on everything. So Archaeopteryx was basically a couple chicken bones that some knucklehead glued together. And we found out later that we'd been swindled. Okay? It wasn't a bird-shaped looking raptor thing that started everything. There's even a Pokemon, Archeops, I think it's called. After this, that we know is a fraud. He came out and admitted that he made it up. They found him in his backyard or some junk. Go check them out. Go check out Piltdown Man. Go check out all these people that you were told, all these links that you were told, and you're going to find out there's nothing there. I made one whole link off of a pig tooth, for goodness sake. It's absurd to say that we know all things and that we know that we came from animals. Which, by the way, what does that do to morality? This is my real issue. What do they do? What does that do to morality? What does that do to justice or truth? It's gone. Remember that video a couple while back when everything's gone, anything goes? Yeah. That makes us no different than the beasts. And don't be surprised when your kids act like it in your school and go shoot it up. Because they don't see any morality. They don't see any justice. They've been bullied their whole time. Man, that was tough. But I've been there. Like, why not, right? Like, why not go there and end other people's suffering because some idiot won't stop doing something wrong? By the way, that's the Achilles heel in my estimation of morality in the secular worldview is why shouldn't I become a vigilante? Just a thought. If you can explain to me why I shouldn't, beyond, oh, well, you're going to get caught and you're going to get, temporal justice, meaning go to jail and whatever else. It's like, yeah, except for 100,000 people that don't every year and their murders go unsolved. So you fail. Is that all that the justice is? Why is there this deep-seated want for justice? So being made in his image means being moral, means being different than the beasts. You don't try a lion for killing a gazelle, right? It's not what we do. That would be absurd. Well, similarly, why do we try each other for killing each other? Because we're made in the image of God. That's why. Something greater has been transgressed, and we know it. So anyway, God created man in his image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. In the image of God, he created him. Man and woman is a him. It's a one being. This is marriage. This is what it means to be made in the image of God is also to be made multi-personal, we'll say. Interesting. Straight out of Genesis 1:26. You saw it here in 27. You saw it here. And God blessed them. What? I thought it was a him. Yeah, the answer is yes. God is multi-personal as well in the sense of the Father, Son, and the Spirit. But they're one. They're the same being. Him. Yeah, we're made in his image, right? And by the way, I want to throw this in there too. Freedom of the will. Freedom to do X or not do X is part and parcel of the image of God. So if you want to show me where we lost that, Calvinists, where we lost counter-causal, libertarian free will, which is a bunch of garbage and nonsense I have to put before the word because you want to redefine it. I'm not going to do that anymore, by the way. I mean free will. I mean choice. I mean I could do this or that. And it's up to me. I determine which one I do. Let me just kick that as I walk by. It doesn't mean that I will always act in accordance to my nature. That would be like the fish of the sea and the birds of the air and the cattle of the earth and all the earth, all those other beasts and creeping things of the earth. We are created in God's image. That's different. That means I don't have to have a visceral reaction to do X or not do X, right? The lion's not going to choose to go eat a salad. It's carnivorous. It eats animals. Right? But is that all I am too? This is where naturalists and Calvinists, ironically, come together because they're both usually determinists. They both believe that our greatest preset desire in any given situation rules us. We don't rule it. Well, we're about to see with Cain that that's not true too. God demands that Cain rules it. Okay? So, kick that as I walk by. I'm sorry this is so long, guys. This might be my first over an hour. We'll find out. Blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, every living creature that moves on the earth. We are supposed to not only multiply over here, but we're supposed to subdue the earth and have dominion over the beasts on the earth. Every living thing. We are the ambassadors of God, at least at origin. And 29 says, and God said, see, I've given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it shall be food for food. Okay, we are all vegetarians at first, presumably going back. I remember, we'll find out. Which would be nice because in the sense of, well, poor animals and they have to die. We're desensitized to it, and I don't want to take too much longer. But you haven't had to kill your own food. You haven't had to watch it struggle and die. And how sad that is. You know, the Native Americans wouldn't even eat something that died of terrible distress. I wonder what the games we're playing in our mechanized, stupid, grinding gear maw of corporate America kind of world that we have. I wonder what games we played that we're really hurting ourselves. Maybe that's where a lot of our diseases and issues come from. I don't know. It seems to be sad that something has to give its life so that I may live. Yeah? That should hit you hard. You should let that hit you hard. Because at the core of that is also the gospel. That Jesus would die for me and you. It's like, man, my sin is no longer trivial. It's no longer, oops, I lied. It's like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, yeah, I don't have to understand every facet of why the cross happened or what he experienced on the cross or what that accomplished. I don't have to plumb the depths of understanding of what that all is, but I do have to recognize it's because of me. Like, that's the cost of what I did wrong. And he took it for me and from me. So be encouraged that Jesus did, because he did. For all the earth, let me just say. Otherwise, he's not Messiah. We'll get there. Also, to every beast of the earth, every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth in which there is life, I have given every green herb for food. So we and the animals are vegetarians. And it was so. We didn't stay that way, and God had the providence and the foresight to make lions the way they are. They have big old piss off fangs. It doesn't mean that they're necessarily not vegetarians, but it doesn't mean that they're, not going to be carnivorous one day too. Like I said, genetic expression, God's foresight and foreknowledge of all the events that were going to happen. We'll see as we go. It's important because God would create everything exactly the way it was good. Remember up here, it was good. He prepared. He planned. He made provision. Like we saw with Phineas today, right? Providence. He's not stupid. He's not reacting to what's happening to him. That's part of what it means to be sovereign. God rules all things, right? And yes, Calvinists, other people affirm that. We just don't misdefine it. Sorry to be harsh on you, but that's where I'm at. Y'all like to be cage stagers. Trust me, I can be twice as bad. Also, to every beast of the earth, like we talked about, the green herb. And it was so. So then God saw everything he had made. Indeed, it was very good. So evening and morning. We're the 6th day. Guys, I won't take you any more of your time. I really appreciate you watching this far. I hope it wasn't too much. We went from, verse 20 or so, I think it was, down to verse 31. Jesus bless you and keep you today. Jesus make his face to shine upon you. Jesus lift up his countenance, give you peace. As you go my ways, my peace minions, my peace seekers, my peace creators, please, again, support me on Patreon. Click that like button, click that submit button, share it to every one of your friends and everybody you know. Do one of those annoying instant messenger things where you send it to everybody because somebody's going to watch it and maybe it'll bless them in a way that you don't even know how. Okay? Jesus bless, guys. Thank you so much. And, Hall of Mirrors. All right. I'll see you off this way, okay? Ooh, look, it's light again. You got to see it in real time, y'all. I awoke the dawn. It's now 8 o'clock. So, tick tock, time to rock. David Wood. It's knock knock. Let me into the Apologetic Avengers. No. Knock knock. Time to rock. Anyway, guys, please interact with me. Help me keep it up on that front too. Hey, 57 minutes. That's not bad. I almost made it to an hour. 58. All right, guys. Well, you guys have a blessed day. I pray that Jesus will be done in your life. I pray that Jesus provides all you need and more. What a good God I serve. Jesus bless you. Peace.